this is Shannon from iMatter Wellness and VibResonate.com. Sorry, this is just taking me a little bit to set up because I'm going to be running this on my Zoom. Just because I want to be able to do some typing in to show you some stuff here today. And I can't really do it technically from the Facebook Live version. So please bear with me because I haven't done this for a couple of years. Well, I've done it, but not like this. And it's been a little bit of a while since I've actually streamed live on Facebook groups or Facebook pages through the Zoom. Anyhow, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a talk on statistics here today. And what does it really mean? I mean, we're seeing the Saskatchewan website is posting that we have, I think it is a 1.5% death rate right now. And that's kind of a little bit of a false number. I'm going to explain the statistics today a little bit. And if you give me a little bit of a minute, I'm going to actually bring up a whiteboard here. And it'll just take me just one sec here. Oops, that's not where I want to go. Sorry. Clicked on the one thing. And I'm going to just bring up a whiteboard here. I'm not very good at writing. My writing is horrible. So when this comes up, I am actually going to use the text on here. I was kind of playing with this thing last night a little bit. Anyhow, we're going to first of all look at Saskatchewan statistics. Now, these are statistics based on yesterday, and it's a little bit difficult to get totally inline statistics with each other, both Saskatchewan versus Canada, and I'll talk about that as I go. But this is what I have done in calculation here. Now, you know, I have a little bit of a background in healthcare, and a little bit of a background in math. So I'm kind of giving you a little bit of a rundown on this. So to date, as of yesterday, Saskatchewan had 220 positives. Okay. And what that worked out to out of the population, this is out of the whole population of Saskatchewan based on last year's population, because I don't have a figure for this year's. It could be up or down. Most likely this rate would be down. So that would be about a 0.18%. That's 0.18% of the population. So really that's not much. I mean, that's out of all the positives, that's what we get out of the population when you calculate it out. To date, Saskatchewan has 12,100 and let's just do that a little bit differently. 112, whoops, I tried to put a space in there, that didn't work. 12,112 that have been tested. And out of that, there was the 220 that were positive. That is actually, that's where they're getting like about a, from the 220, that's where they're getting about 1.7% they're getting 1.7%. I think that's 100 and just let me do a quick calculation on that. I'm not sure if I did that one yet. 220, just a sec here. Okay, so that is actually 1.8%, 8% of the population, sorry. So, or 1.8% of the positive tests, or 1.8% of all the tests that are done. So now we have 3 deaths in that deaths. And where they're getting, I think, a 1.5, I better double check that. 3 divided by, just a sec here, 3, that's actually 3 deaths is actually 0.02% of the population. But no, that's of the positives. That's of the positives. But it's actually, I guess I didn't calculate that out before I wrote that down. I apologize. So 3 deaths is actually 0.02% of the positives. It's actually in Saskatchewan, when you calculate it out to, now the other day they were actually saying that our positives were, our fatality rate was our fatality rate was actually 1.5%. Yeah, but it's actually not. Our fatality rate so far in Saskatchewan is actually, this is what the fatality rate is actually, the 3 deaths is actually the fatality rate. And that's calculated out of all of the testing that is done, the fatality rate. So it's a little bit of a misnomer. It's not actually the entire population, and that's what I want to stress to you. That's not the entire population. Our actual population is 0. This is the actual population death rate. This is out of the entire population. So 3 deaths out of, I think last year's amount of people was 1.1 million, or I think it was a 1,174,000 people, and that was in that was a year ago. That was our population. So that's our actual rate of in our population. That's our death rate. And they also mentioned yesterday that our most of the people that passed away were actually in long-term care facilities. And that fits in with what they're finding with the statistics, because most people actually don't pass, most people don't die from it if they have a healthy immune system. There's also been reports online that they're falsely reporting some of this. I don't know if it is in this case, but I saw online, and I don't know if it's in Saskatchewan, that in the long-term care facilities, they're doing a postmortem swab. I don't know if this is Saskatchewan, but in some places in Canada, they are. And it didn't matter what the bug came back as, they were reporting the death due to COVID. So, and I also have on my personal wall, I have a physician that wrote a report on that. You know, I don't know whether that's true in Saskatchewan. I'm not going to say it is or not, but be careful where you get your stats, and this is what it is. So this is all in Saskatchewan. Canada on the front is, and I'm going to go down here. I'm going to put a little bit of space in here, and we're going to go into Canada here. Oh, so what does that mean? It takes me I've been doing presentations on this a little bit on an event that I'm having several days a week for the COVID-19 correction. And I'm getting into some of these stats a little bit with people on the presentation and kind of going over the stats because they're a little bit misleading. So to date, we in Canada, and this is where it's been really difficult to find how much actual testing is, because there's so much now in Canada and they're not releasing those statistics. So I'm going to give you some statistics that are today, and some of those statistics are going to be from a couple of days ago, because it's very difficult to find exactly what we want here. So in Canada total, and this was posted early this morning, we have 13,860 positives. Oops, I really have some bad spelling here. We have, and that is in the population, that is 0.037% of the population. And that's not what they called, That's of your whole entire population of Canada, based on, again, last year's population figures. So now we have, now these next statistics are from a couple of days ago. So I'm going to give it a little space in there because, like I said, it's harder to find the statistics in Canada because even when I do find them, sometimes they change a few days later. And I'm not quite sure if it's just that some provinces haven't submitted in or how it is. So we have 268, 154 have been tested in Canada. I'll just give a little space in there. And out of that, and this is based on last Thursday, we had 268 positive in Canada. So that is a 4.2% positive rate, okay? That's not your fatality rate, that's your positive rate. Notice it's quite a bit higher from Saskatchewan, so Saskatchewan's doing a good job right now. And that's as of April 2nd. Now let's go into this. We have 228 deaths, and the way they calculate it, they calculate it out of the positive tests. So they give you a 1.6% fatality rate. But that's not out of the population, but that's what they're doing out of the testing. Out of the testing, now out of the entire population, we have a 0.00061%. It is slowly rising. We will expect this to rise in all provinces. This one will rise. Of population. So that's giving you a 61% of the population, and what that's doing is giving you a little bit, giving you an idea of what it's giving you an idea of how much that gives you a really good idea of what your chances are of actually dying of COVID-19. So that's kind of, if you take a look at those stats, so that's the difference between your fatality rate, which is from the testing, all the testing, they take it out of the testing, versus your actual fatality rate in the whole entire province. So of course, if I had this year's statistics, it would go up or down accordingly. I'm guessing it would go down because ideally you want your population to rise every year. But anyways, that kind of gives you an idea. So I'm going to just stop the share and I'm going to come back and look at it. I hope you guys all saw that. So that kind of gives you an idea of what the statistics are. And so it kind of gives you an idea that you really don't have as much to worry about as what you think you do. Most of the people that are dying so far, at least in Saskatchewan, are long-term care type people. They're not releasing the locations. I don't think that's necessary. And so basically the people who are elderly and the people who have underlying immunosuppressed systems, people who have diabetes, people who have autoimmune disorders, people that are on immunosuppressive drugs probably would lump into that category. They even say people that are moderately obese or higher, like, I don't know, I don't consider myself really super obese, but they say obesity does have a factor in it. So it does give you an idea, but you don't have to go out in public and say, oh, you got to stay away about 20 feet from me. No, it's droplet precautions. So what droplet precautions means, they have to literally cough on you or sneeze on you in order to transmit it. And it still has to get into your body. So, I mean, and you walk into these, I just went to Walmart to go pick up some new lighting so I could present some more video footage. And I looked at it, and there's people walking around in masks, and it's like, really, people? you're the people that are judging by what I see, you're probably one of the people that has the least amount of worries, unless of course they had an underlying immunosuppressive disease. There's one till line I wouldn't even go through because the woman wants to put 20 feet between you or 20 meters between you because she's falsely misguided on what this social distancing is about. 2 meters is what, or 6 feet roughly, is what the recommendations are. And I mean, I don't think I've ever seen someone cough that far, but I guess it's possible. I don't know. Uh, Anyhow, so those of you are wanting to know a little bit more, I am doing a presentation. I do have availability today for a few more. I think one at 3 and one at 7 tonight. You might not be able to easily register for the 3 o'clock one, but just PM me directly and I can get you into it. And it's just $10, and at the end you can take part in the COVID-19 correction, and it's just something to give your body a memo or a news flash to tell it that it might be encountering it, and this is what you need to know about it, type of thing. And hopefully with a little luck it will pick up and start to fight it faster than it would if it never had that news flash. That's the whole idea of the correction. Anyhow, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at any time. You guys have a great Saturday afternoon. I'll talk to you later.